Or how would it situate Ohio relative to other states?
Okay, so some states do not allow any kind of direct corporate contributions to either the parties or the individuals. Some states allow some activities, and so I would say I'd have to go back and look at like the Brennan Center for Justice has some research that looks at this. It's about 50-50 for the use of corporate dollars that are for these kinds of activities with the party. The thing that becomes problematic, for example, in Illinois, which has had a series of scandals, to give you kind of a comparison from the Midwest, they had, you might say, oh, all we need is disclosure. Well, they had direct corporate dollars, they had no limits, they had, it was the wild, wild west basically there. They did go through a process where they basically reined it in and ended these kind of direct corporate contributions going to candidates who, of course, are policymakers. So there are some states that have gone through that process recently making changes. I don't know if you know, this is actually kind of cool. In New York State, they're in the process of having a conversation about public financing and clean elections. So this is a struggle that many, many different states are having. If you want some research on kind of the difference, I can put it together for you and send it to you if you wish.
Any other questions?
Are there limits to this?
Okay, so
that corporations can give?
So what's kind of interesting about this is they actually call them gifts, and because they're considered gifts rather than campaign contributions, they're actually exempt from any kind of limits. And you might say to yourself, oh, wow, okay, so yes, it's only for things like rent and it's only for supplies. But just imagine all of the spending time with voters and individuals that you wouldn't spend in fundraising that all of a sudden you could just take care of through a couple corporate donations. And how likely would our lawmakers be to be even more beholden to large contributors? Because this isn't just a party, this isn't like the state party committee. This is the party committee that's so associated with the caucus. This is their committee. This is all about getting their people elected. Any other questions?
Are there any pieces of the budget bill that you guys like or that you hope stay in or,
Well, this is funny. As money and politics girl and open government and all of that kind of stuff, that's really what I focus. That's my purview. My guess is both Brian and Representative Foley will have something to say about that.
Yeah, the only thing I like, I don't know if the state and the Senate version or not, but the House, when it passed out the budget, did the internet sales tax piece that, probably, I don't know, 20 or 30 other states have done, and there's some kind of contest in terms of whether it's constitutional or not, and so this is court challenges are going on. And hopefully this gets settled at the federal level, but that was a good piece of, I thought, that, where we go after the Amazons and the folks that sell stuff online and are able to push them to pay the sales tax. That was about the only good thing I saw. I had a lot of problems with this budget.
The problem with this budget is that it is entirely influenced by this sort of corporate mentality, and so yes, the internet sales tax is good. The fact that they've reined in some of the income tax cut, but who knows what will happen in conference committee. It's gone now. That's a pretty regressive tax. The problem with this budget is that right now corporations in Ohio have unlimited power at the State House. Even in the one instance where the governor himself wanted to tax corporations, the severance tax, he's not been able to do it. And that is, something he struggled with for the past couple of years because of the unlimited power of these corporations. So what I would say is that, from a policy perspective, people get caught up in the money and the arguments over the money in the budget. What this budget is really dangerous about is the corporate influence on it, and the fact that you can't see what's happening with public money. They're shutting some of that off. The fact that they're opening the spigot in other instances, and the fact that the only things that they do, tax-wise, benefit these corporations. And so I think it's a very diabolically cynical budget for the average citizen of Ohio.